One more category that we need to talk about in reference to these two products is pH, alkalinity, or acid. These two products are both on the alkali side. When you're dealing with yellow stains in shirts, that's fine. You can go as high as you want to on the alkali scale. But when you're dealing with a wool, you don't want to use an alkali-based product. You could potentially switch over to a neutral or an acidic-based product, hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is available from your distributor at about a 25 to 30% concentration. You can buy it from the drugstore at a 3% concentration. If you get concentrate from your distributor and you put 1/3 to 2/3 water, 1/3 peroxide concentrate to 2/3 water, it gives you a nice 10% solution. The 10% solution is totally adequate to take out some of those yellow stains. These two products can be used on the spotting board, in a bucket, or in the wash machine. On the spotting board, we can take a little bit of sodium percarbonate and we can put it in a washcloth or a handkerchief. We put it in a ball and we twist it up like this. So we have a ball of chemical, and we take the spotting gun and get this as close as you want to the stain. And when you start steaming that, the sodium percarbonate dissolves and also gets heated. It doesn't blow away. It's a very, very good way to use sodium percarbonate or even sodium perborate on the spotting board. When you're working with sodium percarbonate in a bucket, it depends on how set the stain is that you're working on, but usually in a 4-gallon scenario, you'll probably want at least 1/4 cup of sodium percarbonate or sodium perborate. When you put your sodium percarbonate or sodium perborate in the bucket, you want to add at least 2 ounces or 3 ounces of Riteco. The Riteco becomes your neutral lubricant. It digs in there and opens up the fibers so that the bleaches can get in there and do a better job. Sodium percarbonate and sodium perborate and hydrogen peroxide are very safe and color safe. If you question the validity of that, you'll just have to test. There's always room to test a bleach if you question. So I want to talk to you about potassium permanganate, or Permago, as a source of taking out those yellow stains, even an ink stain, on a lab coat, or on a white shirt, or on a white tablecloth. If you've tried everything and none of your bleaches that we've been talking about have worked, you can always try this as an absolute final step, but only on whites. So what it is, it's a purple oxidizing bleach. If you have a yellow stain, we just put all that purple stuff on the stain. Can you see that? Now, what we would normally do, we take it over the spotting board after about a minute, and we will flush it. And when you flush it, it actually goes to a brownish color. You need to neutralize that brownish color with hydrogen peroxide or with Exco. I will just use the hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide neutralizes the Permago. Even though they're both on the oxygen side, hydrogen peroxide is a weaker oxidizer, and therefore it works very nicely to neutralize it. I'll hold this up, and you can see the stain is disappearing. If I let that sit for a little bit, that purple stain will come out as we speak. When I finish using something, I always like to put the caps back on, because otherwise we could have an accident. There's one other thing that will accelerate bleaches, and that is Rusco. If I put Rusco on this tiny bit of stain here, it accelerates it, but it also helps to remove it. I don't know if that shows up or not, but the stain has gone. The stain is gone, and the residual chemical is gone. Now, all I have left to do is to send this to the washer, and you'll be done. So if you get one of these bottles from your supplier, you'll probably use one bottle in 2 years, because you're going to be using it just by spotting a little bit here and there. And I would suggest Q-tips, and I would suggest also eyedropper. This is not a quart size. The quart size is a little bigger. That's the only size that it comes in. All right.